What's up, Waluigi? Trent from Trentendo here. We got a brand new video for you guys here today where we're going to talk a little bit more about what is next for the Hogwarts Legacy franchise. The Nintendo Switch version is on the horizon with the release date in just a couple of weeks from now. And what happens at Hogwarts Legacy after the Switch version? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So before we hop into that though, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video so you guys are kept up to date with everything going on here at Trentendo. Let's see if we can hit 20 likes on this video. It really does help, I appreciate it. Without further ado, let's hop right into what is next for Hogwarts Legacy after the Nintendo Switch release in just a couple of weeks. Now the first thing that I think we have to think about is DLC. Now once the Switch version of Hogwarts Legacy is out, that will be the final culmination of every version that is released. You'll have a ton of different systems out here that will have it, PC, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series S, PS5, PS4, Xbox One, and now the Nintendo Switch. And with that being said, now that everything has been out, everything has been released, that gives the developers a chance to potentially look at DLC. I don't think that DLC would ever have been announced or even kind of put on the table until after the Switch version is released. And now that that is here, I think that there is a chance that there is some DLC for this game. I think the clear, obvious thing that will probably happen is that the Haunted Hogsmeade quest that is currently exclusive to PlayStation will see it released upon the other systems, Xbox, PC, and now Nintendo Switch. I think that specific quest line will then be opened up to those outside of the PlayStation system. And you can kind of view that as a form of DLC, I guess. I view it as mostly just unlocking content from platform exclusivity. But I think that there is a chance that we see some form of DLC in Hogwarts Legacy. Whether that's, I think that the most likely scenario is that there's some sort of side missions or another like mini storyline that you can kind of follow. Perhaps something to do with your OWLs is, you kind of go, that's kind of the ending point of Hogwarts Legacy. Potentially something after the main story, maybe it's just an offshoot. I think there's a lot of people who would love to see Quidditch added in, and that could potentially be something that you see in a DLC. I personally don't think that we'll see Quidditch in Hogwarts Legacy, in this version of Hogwarts Legacy at least. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. I think we do see Hogwarts Legacy get Quidditch at some point, but probably in a sequel. But as far as a DLC goes, I think that our best shot is to see, some sort of just offshoot storyline. I don't think there will be much outside of that, really. But I think that now that we have the Nintendo Switch version almost out, but once that game, hits shelves here in just a couple of weeks' time, on November 14th, I think that there is a chance that we see some sort of announcement, some sort of update from Avalanche, from Warner Bros., that we can expect to see some DLC for this game at some point in the near future. My guess would be sooner rather than later, especially with how long it has taken for them to get the Switch version out. I think that this is something that you can have a team working on. They could have had this team working on this for some time now at this point, while still devoting a lot of time and attention to making sure the Switch version runs and performs up to their standards. Now, like I said, I think that the next thing we have to talk about, and I kind of already mentioned it, is a sequel, Hogwarts Legacy 2. I think that this is a no-brainer. Game Rant has already reported earlier last month in October that I keep saying Switch 2, the Hogwarts Legacy 2 has been reportedly in development, and I think that that's very, very likely. I think a lot of it has come from, Reddit and from the Gaming Leaks and Rumors Reddit specifically. But I think that with the success that we saw with Hogwarts Legacy on the initial launch with, I guess they call it next-gen hardware. Really, it's the current-gen hardware, I feel like. But with the success that it saw there, I think it makes sense that we will see Hogwarts Legacy 2. And I don't think that it will take as long as, we saw from the announcement of Hogwarts Legacy that it was in development, that we're going to get this cool Harry Potter RPG, to when it actually launched. It was a long time, couple of years. I think it was, I can't even remember off the top of my head, but it was at least 3 years, maybe more. So I think that Hogwarts Legacy 2 does not take that long, and I think that it's a no-brainer at this point. It's very clear that this is going to be a franchise that will make them lots of money, and they would be absolutely silly to not do another version of Hogwarts Legacy 2 sequel. So I think that that is definitely in the pipeline. And the good news for Nintendo Switch fans and owners, I think that this will be coming to Nintendo Switch 2, and I don't think, with what we have seen and what we have heard about the potential for Switch 2, I think that this will be a lot smoother of a game. And like I said, we don't even know how this will run on the Switch currently, but I think Hogwarts Legacy 2 on a Switch 2, I think that's going to be nice. I think the developer is going to have a much easier time porting that over from the Xbox and PlayStation versions. And from what we've heard and from what we've seen, the power of the Switch 2 allegedly is going to be much, much closer to some of the current hardware out there, and it'll be a much smoother experience for them, hopefully, which means hopefully we don't have to wait so long should Hogwarts Legacy 2 come out and on the next platform for Nintendo Switch and on the current platforms for Xbox and PlayStation. I think that this will be closer to a day and date thing rather than a delayed version of the game for some Nintendo fans. So I think these are the two big things for Hogwarts Legacy up the pipeline. I think we're going to see some DLC, and I think that one is probably more, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be a little bit more difficult for that to actually come to fruition. I think that there's a bigger chance that we don't see DLC, but I think that it is a given that we get Hogwarts Legacy 2 on the Nintendo Switch and on whatever other platforms that may be out there. That I think that Hogwarts Legacy 2 is basically a done deal at this point, and if it is not in development, it's been approved there and it'll be in development very shortly. But my money, if I was a betting man, my money would be that it's already being developed, that they're working on it, and that there has been some resources allocated for that, even though they have been currently working on the Nintendo Switch version of Hogwarts Legacy. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below. What do you think about this? Do we see DLC for Hogwarts Legacy? I don't know if we do. I think that it seems very likely, to be honest, and it would seem like a slam dunk with how many copies I'm sure have been sold. I think it gets people excited, it gets people back into the game. I think that at the very least, we do see the Haunted Hogsmeade open up to other platforms. So if you want to call that DLC, I would not begrudge you. I think that is probably technically true, and I think that if anything, that is what we most likely will see. Maybe we see something extra in addition to that, but I think that that's probably the most likely thing we see with DLC. And then, Hogwarts Legacy 2, I think, is all but a done deal. And fingers crossed that, with the power and with the specs that we're hearing for Switch 2, that this will be a day and date game for the new system and for Nintendo fans everywhere. But like I said, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below. What you think? What would you like to see? I would love to see Quidditch. I just don't know if we'll get that as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this update. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, as I've mentioned a couple times now. But without gilding the lily, I guess, hope you enjoyed. And until next time, catch you later.